All right, we're back. You guys should be about this far, which is pretty far. You have all your dimensions, tags, all that. And you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, we should be done pretty soon. Well, there's still a bunch to go. Just like in the real life, framing goes up fast, but it still takes a while to finish everything else off. So let's get into the nitty gritty. One thing I'm going to show you is if you're putting in your windows, in the sections it'll call out your sill height and your head height, and you'll see that this one is a little bit higher. This one has a sill height of 6 foot 6 inches, and he's not, along with this guy, he's not looking like the other windows where you can see through and they're basically white in there. The reason why is that these are above the cut plane, and what a cut plane means is basically floor plans are drawn that if this was a real model of a real building, which in Revit now it is, that's one of the benefits of it, is that it's looking at kind of a 3 foot high view and down, and these are above 3 foot. So what we have to do is we have to go to view, we have to go to drafting views, no we don't, just kidding, we have to go to plan views, and we have to hit plan region. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in sketch mode, and we're going to sketch around our windows. This one we can't see, but we can guess. Right there. We're going to take these lines and we're going to go through the exterior wall. Same here. And then we're going to change the view region of this, what it's kind of looking for. And over here is your view range. And you're going to say, instead of cutting through at 4 or 3 foot, let's cut at 7 foot. So this is your top, this is your cut plane, this is your bottom. When you're making different views or callouts, this will be of interest to you and these plan regions. This will be where you want to go to kind of tell this view what to kind of look at. Once we hit OK, we click our little check box, and then boom, now we can see these little green lines that this is a little plan region. This is where it calls out, where you can see that. So that's how you get those to look good. The next we're going to do is we're going to create some text. So if you look at the bottom of your page, there should be a little text that says calls out for firewood storage. And then there's another text, which if I look over at mine, says hidden closets. So text is this big A up here. And what you need to know is right here, if you just had this click, you would just click right here and you could start beginning to do your text. But if you want leaders, basically, there's a straight one. Normally we use these 2 segment leaders. And the reason we use 2 segment leaders is because, let me just type this. Oops, I'm going to do caps locks. And why you don't see on drawings. If I want to add one, I just click on there, hit the plus side for that side. If I hit the plus side for the other side, it'd go over there. I can hit minus to go away. Move right there. So you'll notice on sections and on plans that a lot of architects use, a segment, a line that goes, that kind of bends at an angle. And the reason is, if you only use straight lines and called out straight stuff, it would get confused with the architecture. It'd get confused, like, is that line, a poche for the deck here? Is that line part of the window or part of the dimension? So when you're doing any text, try to do the 2 segment lines because it makes it clearer, just intuitively and professionally. Okay, so there's your text. Now let's go to room tags. So let's go to annotate. Room tag right there. Well, actually, I can delete this one. This is from before. This is what I made before. So go into architecture and go to your room, and we're going to start placing rooms, right? So you can click here, you can click here, you can click here. There was already one made in there. You'll have to click in there. You could click in here for closet, you could click in here, but I'm not going to do it because it kind of gets too busy in there right now. But there's 2 different rooms right here. And this kind of room tag automatically takes up the whole thing. So what do we do to do that? We do a room separator line. So we click on that, and then we just draw a line from here, from a wall to a wall, and it's saying that it's hidden and that we can't see it. Well, to be able to see it, if you look down here, reveal hidden element. Click on that, everything goes to a poche, and then you can see this little line. If this little line, anything in red means that it's hidden. If this little line is not hidden, I clicked on it, right clicked on hide and view category. I unclick that little light box, it showed up like this. So if it shows up like this, and let's say you don't want to see it, or let's say you're making a presentation floor plan and you don't want all of these dimensions, one way you can do is click on the object, right click, hide and view the element, which would just be that line, or the category would be all lines like that. So if you clicked on a dimension, you could hide just that one dimension, or if you click on categories, it would hide all of the dimensions. So let's hide all of those. The other way you can do it is you can hit VG for view graphics, and this shows the visibility of everything in this view. So let's say I wanted to turn off all the furniture. Simply click in there, okay, and then it's going to hide all my furniture. See how it went away? I'm going to turn that back on. View graphics, VG. So there's two ways to kind of hide things and unhide things. After we get our rooms in there, well, then I can take my room, I can click over here, put a new room, because that room line, that separated it. And then you can simply click on this and name it master bedroom, whatever you want. Right here, I clicked on the tags. In the left template, you'll have tags that you could do the area to, and it'll automatically count the area for you, so that's kind of nice. So that's how you do room tags. Rename all your rooms just like I have on the sheet. Let's do stairs. So stairs are notoriously tricky, and so are railings in Revit. Revit's a great program. They can't get everything right, and that's to be expected, and there's going to be some hard things. One of them is stairs, and the reason is after you try to put in your stair, if you ever try to adjust it, it doesn't really work out. So the best course of action, if you're ever having trouble with your stairs, is to delete the stair and then retry again. So we're going to put in stairs from this level. Well, it's actually going to be from a base level, which is going to be our top of foundation, up to our main top of subfloor. But if you know about construction, normally you have your base level, let's say you have it at top of the foundation. Normally the earth is 6 inches below that. 6 inches. Now we want to do the main top of plate, right? But as we know, this deck level is already set 3 inches below that, and the last step is actually going to be the step from the stairs onto this deck. And steps are normally about 7 inches. So 3 plus 7 equals 10 inches. So now, oops, and not main top of plate, make sure it's main top of subfloor. Now we have 3 risers. Click. 3 risers. And we are ready to go. Click OK, and let's go look at them. What did I do wrong? I should have done negative 10 inches. So let's see if we can change it and watch. Watch if it's going to do it. Nope, it's not going to do it. So we delete and we start over. Top of foundation, negative 6 inches. Main top of subfloor, negative 10 inches. There we go. Now we have 2 risers, exactly what we want. move it from the center. See if we can find the midpoint of this. Right there. There we go. Hit OK. Go take a look. Perfect. What we want. So there's a step, and our third step is this little deck. Well, we need little posts for our deck. And before we do that, let's go in and let's make our site. So let's go to our site plan. Look at that. I already have the boundaries. Isn't that nice? But you guys won't have the boundaries. So to do that, you need to do massing and site, and you need to do property lines. Right? So I'm going to delete this guy. Property lines. You can do it two ways. If you have a survey, you could do it by creating and entering distances and bearings. I'll just show you what that is. So basically, for you guys that aren't familiar, on the property lines that you saw when I brought it up, they have bearings on them. So it says, you know, the top line is 150 feet, and it's bearing north 90 degrees by east, you know, something else. So you can go in, if you guys have a site survey, you professionals will know exactly what I'm talking about. You can enter a distance, and then after that, you insert a line, and then for your last one, it normally doesn't work. If you type in perfectly what the engineers give you, that last line is barely, almost never connects. We've probably done who knows how many houses, dozens and dozens, and that last line, we always just click add line to close, rather than typing in that last line. And then normally it comes out pretty good. But we're not going to do that now. We're going to do property line, and we're going to do it by sketching. And let me just bring over this guy so I can see where we're at on the PDF and see what we need to create. So they're just going to be 100 foot. Perfect. Easy peasy. We're just going to guess right now. You can center them later. 100 foot. 100 foot. 100 foot. 100 foot. Perfect. That looks pretty good. So now we have our property lines. And then we're going to annotate them. We're going to tag them. We don't need the leader. Now I can tag them. So if you guys had the survey and we're doing it by them, once you tag them, they should match up with the surveyors. Perfect. Now we're going to make our site. So we're going to go to topo services. Now, if you guys have a topo service, one, you can import them from CAD and just Google, you know, import topo service surface from CAD into Revit. You'll get something. I might make some videos later on rendering and more detailed stuff like that, but there's some pretty good videos and you should know. If you can't import it from CAD, another way to do it is import the image, and then you'll see the topo lines, and then sketch those topo lines just with regular lines, just with detailed lines. And then after you have that, you go to topo surface, and you're going to want to place a point. Okay. Our absolute elevation is going to be, I think, 6,100. Let's see if I'm right on this, or else I'm going to have to go double check my file. Then you start clicking points. Now you could see why it would be useful if you had those lines, because then let's say you had a line right here at like 59, 100. You could just click, 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 and you'd be ready to go. I'm going to zoom into this and see what I have. Okay. So if I look on my PDF, like you guys should have, it looks like, let me put it on the big screen so I can see. 6095. So it's going to be 6094. These are all going to be at 60. I just selected them. 6094. Then all I'm going to do, instead of having to do all those different lines, at 60, 97, 98, yeah, 1698. Let's place points, more points. 60, 98. I'm just going to place some points around my foundation. Another thing you guys can do, so you know that there's this detail level. Over here is your visual styles. SketchUp kind of has this too. But right now we're in hidden line. In your 3D views you can do shaded, things like that. But right now I'm going to do wireframe. That kind of allows me to see through it. Here's my foundation points. So now I'm saying around here, we're going to bring it up. And then I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to turn this back to hidden line. Then I'm going to do my labels by just clicking here. And it's pretty simple. Click one point, click another point, and along that line, it's going to name those. Go all the way, boom, and boom. Okay, so there we have that, your site plan. But let's examine it a little more deeply. So here you have it. Looks like it's working out well. But one thing is you guys might have a basement, or you might want this crawl space to not have a whole bunch of dirt in it. The way we remedy that is actually pretty simple. We create a building path, and that's under massing and site. And what we're going to do, it's same as drawing a floor. So you just want to outline your whole building. And you know what? I'm just going to do this as an example. So go around, click around, outline your whole building. But I'm going to do it quicker. There we go. And we want this at your bottom of your foundation. So it'll be right on top of the footing. So now if I go there, go to view, it lowers all the dirt that was in that region to right there. So that's how you cut that out. It's pretty simple. Now let's go to, I'm looking at my checklist. Okay, now we can go back to adding the post. So if I go to my 3D view, you can see now we have our dirt in there and all that. Now let's add our post. We go to architecture. Oops, I wanted to go there. Architecture, columns. And one thing Revit doesn't do well right away is it doesn't allow you to adjust the height like a wall. If anyone from Revit is listening, please do that for your columns, because you should be able to. I know it's a big program, but you know that's what you should be able to do. Some people mess up. They do it gets clicked on slanted columns, and then you double click, and it's all weird. That's more for professionals. So as you get further along, you'll know about that. So just click, and then click off. Hit exit, and now we can adjust the height. So we want this at the top of the foundation, minus a foot just to go in right now, up to the main top of, yeah. Let's see how this does. Top of the foundation, 3 inches. Perfect. You can examine it more. You can adjust it more. But let's go back. Let's change our view to hidden line. Why aren't we seeing that? Let's go to our site plan. Wireframe. There we go. Was I in wireframe over there? I was, but it's not allowing us to see it. So we can go to our site plan. We can click on that, hit MV for move or find your move button up there. Click on the corner, put it in its place. Now we can start to copy this. Make sure it's on multiple or else you have to keep on hitting copy. So you can kind of see in the drawings where I haven't placed, hitting exit, moving this, what's in the corner, copying it. Can't remember what the distance was, maybe it was 8 feet. But anyways, make them similar to mine, and that's how you make columns. Okay, got those done. Let's go to reflected ceiling plans. I'm going to turn the wireframe off, and that, wireframe off, and that to hidden line. Now we're going to make our ceiling elements, and there's going to be two different elements. What you're seeing right now, I can grab onto it. That's the finished ceiling. I'm hitting tab and I had it to cycle through and I'm just deleting that. So the first ceiling you're going to make, here's your ceiling. You're going to make the structural part of that. So that's the 2x4. So that would be the bottom of your roof framing. And that's going to go over, we're going to sketch element, not automatically create it, we're going to sketch it. That's going to go over your framed walls, just like a roof truss would be. And basically, you want to highlight, you want to draw around your entire building. And if you mess up, we can fix it. So this one wasn't perfectly aligned. Hit AL for align. Click on where you want it to go, then click on there. And we don't want it down on your top subfloor, we want it on your main top of plate. Hit OK. And let's go to this section to view it. There you go. It's right on top of your walls. The next thing is we want to make a finished ceiling that's going to go under. So your finished ceiling, just like you'd make it, it wouldn't go over all this. They would place it on the inside of the wall, so it would just go under there. So same thing, ceiling. Pick your finished ceiling. There's only a couple options here in the template. You know, there's a bunch more. Main top of plate, and I think -3/4, which would be the thickness of that ceiling down. Sketch it. And you're going to put that in all the rooms besides this mechanical room. Mechanical rooms, you don't need a finished ceiling. Unless you're rich, then you can, no problem. So you can go ahead and draw in all of those. You can pause this and draw all of them. I'm just going to do one of them to show you how it should look. Go to the section. Oh, it's probably down there. There he is. Main top of plate. Perfect. That's exactly where we want him. So do that for the rest of your rooms. And then the other thing that a reflected ceiling plan tells you, besides the type, is that it tells you the spot elevation, what it's at. So I went to annotate spot elevation, clicked once, clicked twice, clicked 3 times. This is helpful if you have ceilings of different height, vaulted ceilings, stuff like that. So we just do that. Even in the buildings that just have flat ceilings and no different heights, just to let the contractors and everyone who knows who's building it that it's at the same height. other than that, let's go into sections, right? So we have our ceilings in, but you'll see that this doesn't look like how I have it in the PDF. So these are going to be trusses by a wood frame by a truss company, right? And normally you can talk to your lumber yard. They'll include that in the package. They get with the truss company. You normally don't have to worry about that. You normally just have to put a little note. And I'm going to bring this over. And that little note is pre-engineered trusses, 24-inch on center by others. Yeah, that's mainly. The other thing you have to do is you have to examine. If you have crazy roofs, you got to make sure they work. You got to make sure they drain off. You got to make sure all that other stuff. So to do that, and to make these little guys, because we're not going to put in all that in our model. It's just a filled region. So that's under annotate, filled region. Let's not save it. And we're going to do light gray, transparent. And normally these trusses are made of 2x4s, which are normally 3.5 inches. Go up to there, go down to there, complete the circle, complete the square. Same thing here. Do the same thing here, the same thing over here. Draw those in, and after you draw those in, hit OK. Pause this video so you can do the rest, and then do your text. So your text, same here. Oops. Exit. Let's get back there. So under annotate, it's text, or right up here. And we can start to put in our leaders. Type in 24-inch on center, pre-engineered trusses. Hit OK, and we're good to go. To add on another one, you just click over here. If you guys have multiple lines in this or another thing, and you want to control where these leaders come off of, right up here, you can click center. This is for the left side, this is for the top side. Whatever your preference is, you can change it, and good to go. So once you get that tab in there, again, it is pre-engineered trusses at 24-inch on center by others. You can copy and paste that and put it in multiple of your sections. The next kind of section that you're going to have is a wall section. So these are called building sections because they cut through the whole building. Wall sections, and under views, sections, to create this, the first one that popped up is building, wall, and you can change it from building to wall section, just like any other component. And then you'd basically click, I already have one in, but I'll make another one. Click at one place, and then drag over, click at the other. You want to make it the same, click on this side to that side. You can use this tool to flip it over. Remember, you can use these toggles to toggle through. Same on the other side over there. Since I already got that, I'm going to hit delete. Oh, and I already got the completed version here. So let's delete this all. Let's do it from scratch like you guys. So we're going to use a lot of tags here and a lot of detailed components. And a lot of filled regions. Okay. So the first thing you guys can put in under annotate, components, these are your detailed components, is you can put in your breaker line, your brake line. So again, you could just put in, follow this, and everything that we put in here is going to be the only things that get put in basically. So your brake line comes in just like this. You can click on it. You can hit RO for rotate, or it's right here. And this is going to hide stuff that you don't want. And to edit these sizes, because sometimes they're too small, sometimes they're too big, if you're making this section, make sure your scale is 1 inch to 1 foot. Right here you can change it. I think I have it at 9 and 4. Let's see, might be a little bit bigger, but that works for us. Make another one right there. And let's start putting things in. So how we're going to put things in is by putting in filled regions, and then we're going to tag them. So here are all your filled regions, right? And if you guys can't, they're all going to be in there. Trust me. They're all, everything that you need to make this is going to be in there. And right now, we're just asking you to guess. Kind of a good rule of thumb, guys, is that you want all your rebar to be at least 3 inches away from the edge of the concrete, if possible. If this is only a 6 inch, it's not really going to work. I think we got an 8 inch right there. So we're going to put in a field region, and only basically never have, like, you can't draw this one in and then draw this one in at the same time, because it only wants one at a time. So you're going to have to draw this guy in and then draw this guy in over him after you get out. So let's start at this guy. Number 5. Okay, number 5 right there. So those are going to be all the circles. Let's start at number 4. Number 4 grade. You know what? These both look the same, but I think one's going to tag out as different. Let's do 1 foot. Let's do 1/2 inch. For now, hit OK. Put that up. And let's tag it. Nope, it's not a material tag. Tag by category. Where's the detail tags? 1 second. Let me pause this. So, under annotate, tag category, make sure you have a leader, and then you can click free end instead of attached end. So that allows you to move it around. Click on there, click over, and then line this up. What I find is helpful sometimes is hit DL to make a line, and try to line up everything perfectly. Now, why it didn't show up is because we have to show everything on this outside of the scope box. Perfect. And let's see if this one's right. This one's supposed to be provide number 4 bars. So it's not this one. It's not that one. Rebar there it is. There it is. Rebar transverse. That's the one. The same is true for everything else. Just start finding a filled region, sketch it out, and you're good to go. The other thing, make sure on this insulation, guys, when you're making that filled region, it should be rigid insulation. You're going to have to make each one at the time. There's 2 of them in there, and you can't make them at the same time. And actually, before you make this, let's just just make it 3 inches. There we go. Wait, we can probably look. Yeah. We can click on these lines, make them 3 inches, make them all uniform. Hit OK. You can edit them this way, and then you could copy this guy over, like so. Or I would actually just draw a new one. So same thing. And then you would tag that guy too. Under detail components, there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to want to put in. Your rim joist, which is right here. So you'll probably put that in before drawing that guy. You can hit a line him up. Under annotate detail components, there's going to be a couple 2x6s. And remember talking about this one on top of the foundation, right? That's where you hook in with your bolt. There's your bolt. Right there. Swinging the other way, hit space bar. Oh, that's not going to work. We'll put them in. We'll click on him. We'll hit MM for mirror, or it's that guy right there. We don't want it to copy. We want to just, and then there we go. Put that guy in. We can put in our regular 2x6 right there. We can put in our insulation. You can control how wide it is right up here. And you'll put in another 2x6 up there, up on the top. There were those those lines for the damp proofing. Oops, excuse me. Detail lines. Actually, not that. There it is. Damp proofing, line based. Then you can just start to draw that. Then use your tags. Then I'm going to hit TR for trim that up. And every time I do my tags, I'm going to make sure that they line up here so that they're nice and neat. This is a filled region that you guys already know how to do. So let's move up on our PDF and let's take a look. Let's take a look at right here. Okay, so we can put in all these components, and then we can put in this filled region, and then we can tag it. So right here is going to be our heel height, right? Normally on residential it's about 15-16 inches, but we're making a little interesting little guy right here, so we're going to put it up at 2 feet. To make this, we have to make a little hidden line right in there, a little gray line, so that we can call out this dimension, and then we can edit that dimension. So let's delete that. Right? Let's go DL for detail line. Let's make it gray. Thin gray line. And your roof might not be up to where you need it. So you can just draw this guy anywhere. But I would make it so it lines up with this edge. Right there. So there's your little gray line. And let's move this out of place. Okay, now it's all weird. So dimension, I hit DI for dimension. I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to drag and click it off. I'm going to click on this line because I want it to move. I'm going to hit 2 feet. So I'm going to delete this 4, hit 0. That's right where I want it. Now I'm going to take this roof. I'm going to hit MV for move, or I can just click on this move. And right at this intersection, if I'm following this line up, right where it hits there, I'm going to click and then click on that endpoint. And that's going to move my roof up automatically to where I want it. Now I see I want to put heel height minimum. So I'm going to click on that number 2, double click on them, and then at the suffix, I'm going to type that out. Heel height min. And this actually doesn't have to be a min. So we can just put heel height right there. Perfect. Now that we have that, make sure, guys, to click down here so that you crop back your view, fill all of that out, and let's move to a detail of the foundation. We haven't been to the foundation much after we made that one pass. So, guys, remember to do all your dimensions around, do your dimensions in here. You can use your tag to call out this footer, and let's make this detail. So how we do that, it's under views and it's a call out, right? And basically you'd go down here, but I'm going to make one right here. Click once, click twice, and you're good to go. You can take this guy, you can click on him, you can move him, you can move it the elbow if you want, anything like that. How you get all these little numbers in here is we're going to place these on sheets later. But anyways, let's delete that. Okay. Right click, go to view. He's going to show up when you make him. He's going to show up right here, and it's going to say copy of foundation plan. You can right click on this and then hit rename and then type in exactly what I have on the PDF, which is typical foundation corner reinforcement. Same thing. Here are your break lines. Here are your filled regions. There's 2 different types. You can just, they're actually the same type, but you can draw them separately. It's about 2 foot out. After you draw them, make sure you tag them, and then you can tag this wall, and then you have a detail. The next thing, let's go to elevations and roof plan. So on my elevations, we have a reveal right here. And that's under walls. If you had stucco, you guys could put wall reveals. You could put reveals, but you can also do sweeps. There's none in here because we don't have any of that in the template. There are some. Walls, we want to do sweep. And we have a 1x6 sweep. We want to put it right on top right there. If you go to a 3D view, you can also continue that all the way around. Remember, my computer takes a little bit longer because of recording. And you guys get the idea. You can rotate to the other side. Make sure you do it there. Make sure you do it there. And you're good to go. When you go to your roof plan, you aren't going to have all these lines like I do. These are just tags. So you guys can just tag your roof. I think they're going to be material tags. So let's go to annotate. So there's these tag by categories, and then there's a material tag right there. Yep. And then you click once, click twice, click 3 times, and you're good to go. So make sure you do that. But what you want to do is you want to put in these slopes, and these slopes come under annotate, and they're spot slopes, right? And there's two different types. There's just this arrow, but if you were in an elevation, not this elevation, let's go to the other elevation. Let's go to, you can do the spot slope line like that, but on these ones you want the spot slope triangles. So you click on the down arrow, hit triangle, click once, click twice, you're good to go. Going back to the, so you'll do that for the north and the south. Going back to the roof plan. So you want to tell your contractor and people who are building it kind of what your overhangs are. So the dashed line that we're going to draw is going to indicate those overlines. So we can go down here, we can click wireframe. We can hit DL for a detail line, and we're going to want it to be a dashed line. We can do medium dash, and we're going to go from our framing right there, not from the exterior, but from our framing. And we can click all along our building, all along the outside, all the way around to get that dash line. Then we want to call out, like how far it is. So basically, we're going to make a dimension. Click, click, click 3 times. Click once where you want it, second where it needs to go, and then third time to release it. And then our PDF is going to tell us what we want to type. So just like I showed you before, you double click on the lettering, and then below you can type overhang. Now, do you see right here how I had to draw in when I go to wireframe? I had to see where that met up, and I had to draw in a little stub line for myself. So then when I dimensioned, I had something to click on. Okay, so go ahead and do that so that you make it just like the roof plan that we have in the PDF. Other than that, I'm just checking my little list here. I got a list for all of the videos, and I think we covered everything. So when you come back, we got more to do. We have schedules, area plans, sheets, export, and all that. But if you can do that for now, that's a good stopping point, and I'll see you soon.